sharing with you my January to March album. I have finally finished the Project Life part of this album. It has taken me a little while to get up to date. It is now October and I've just finished April. I'm just going to be honest and say I haven't been loving the Project Life aspect of my albums this month, or this year. I have much rather creating and feel a better sense of achievement and creativity when doing my 12x12s, but I really do like keeping the Project Life as part of my album because I feel like I've got a bit of a groove going and I can get a lot more photos on my page, and I'm limiting the amount that I scrap. Now I know that sounds counterproductive. This is supposed to be your creative outlet. Why would you limit that? But for me, I already have 3 albums in a year. Now, I don't have the space to be creating a lot more than 3 albums a year. That's just going to be massive, and it's going to take up all of the walls in my house. So by limiting myself to 3 albums a year and weekly spreads, I am finding that that works really well for just our life, and I can generally get our week in really, really well. So I will explain in more detail what each of my spreads look like and how I plan it out. But first of all, I'll tell you about my cover page. So for this year, I decided to use a Project Life core kit. It is the Seasons edition and I got it on clearance at Spotlight. So it was down to it was apparently originally $30, down to $10, but then it was on a 50% off. So I paid $5 for this beauty. And it basically has different colored cards for your seasons, your summer, autumn, winter, spring. And then it also has event cards like Mother's Day and Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving and 4th of July, and like all the things are in here as well. So I sorted those out for the corresponding months based in Australia because obviously that's not the same as in America. And that's what I've pre-put those into all of the pockets throughout my whole 3 albums for the year. And so on the front page, I've literally used their suggested cards. So how they suggest this card would be lovely as part of the first page of your album. That's what I've done. I have changed it up in terms of not necessarily put them in the exact pocket they said, but yeah, I've done that on my very first page of this first album, and I also did that with their last page suggestions on the last page of my 3rd album, because as I mentioned earlier, I have 3 albums for a year. I fussy cut this little lady, this ampersand, and this happy little moments from a snap maybe, cut aparts, and just thought they were a nice little addition to this layout. And then This Is Us, this little J and T that I know are hard to see, but in real life they're a bit easier to see. And the 2020 is raw chipboard that I painted using the Vicky Bouton, gunmetal, and I used the color gunmetal of her acrylic metallic paints. So I'm gonna get started on sharing through my layouts and explaining sort of what my week by week looks like. So I scrap weekly at the start of each month. This is a bad example because it's really hard to read on the camera, but this says January up here and then week 1, and then I've hand stamped the date using a Becky Higgins date stamp. I think this was like $3 in the throw out bin. Spotlight's getting rid of, or did ages ago, get rid of a lot of their scrapbooking supplies, which was awesome in terms of having a sale, but horrible in terms of now there's very little stock at our scrapbook store, which is pretty much the only real life brick and mortar store in Australia. There is Kaiser Craft though, so thankfully we still have that one. But anyway, a standard week for me is 1 Project Life spread and 1 12x12. And generally speaking, I print 11 photos. I fill it up as much as I can and leave 1 spare to put the week and the date stamp. In this particular case, there are 2 spares because obviously we had a quieter week and I didn't have 11 photos, so that's fine by me. I'm pretty strict with myself. I would be taking 200 or 300 photos a week easy. Just, you know, our mobile phones now, we just snap, 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 snap. But there would have been like 20 photos of the boys swimming in the swimming pool. I don't need all 20 photos of those in my album to know that the boys went for a swim in the swimming pool. I've got 3. I've journaled what's happening, and that told my story. That was all that I needed. So that's what I do throughout my weeks. Now, having said that, we also went to the zoo that week. Now that was a special event. There was a lot of photos from the zoo and I didn't want to miss out on those. I totally could have done them as a multi-page 12 by 12, even a double page spread 12 by 12. But instead, I put in a little extra pocket. This is a normal 12 by 12 size pocket, but I just cut it down. So it looks like an insert. It looks like something extra, something different has been added to the page. And I did that on purpose to show that this was a special event from the week. I could absolutely add some journaling in under here or a date stamp, but I think it kind of speaks for itself. It was happening in the first week of January between the 1st and the 5th, and it was all of us at the zoo. You can see it, so I'm happy with that. My 12 by 12s, I create those and I do put journaling on my 12 by 12s, but I don't hand journal. I hand journal on my Project Life because I'm okay with that. But my 12 by 12s are more like my works of art. They're my masterpieces. And so I just can't bring myself to hand journal on them. I tried. I actually hand journaled on this one and this one. And I think this one. And it looked horrible. And I just to myself, you guys probably looked at it and thought it was fine. But to me, looking at it, I felt like it ruined my page. And that was my mental mindset. And I thought, you know what? It's not worth it. If that's going to be a hitch for me, if that's going to hold me up, then don't. Why do that? Go back to your typewriter, type it out. So I typed it out and I covered where I'd hand journaled. And I'm so much happier with the overall look. So that's what I'm going to stick with. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I have process videos for probably 99% of the layouts in this album. Nothing for my Project Life. I never record Project Life. Please let me know if you'd like me to. But this year, I am keeping it the simplest of simples. I have photos, I have journaling, and that's it. In the past, I embellished my Project Life because I was really enjoying it and I was in a groove and I wanted to do it. This year, it's a chore, so I am keeping it as simple as possible. So, She's Magic, I think this is, and some Pink Fresh maybe as well. I get a monthly kit, so basically everything in here is made with a monthly kit, but I will still definitely link the process videos for you. This is a more standard week 2. Just one 12 by 12 and one Project Life spread. And just hand journaling explains what we got up to and what we were doing. And then week 3. So some weeks we obviously do a lot less than others. Like I had 4 spare spots this week. But to me that kind of makes sense. In 7 days, we might do 7 really interesting things that need the photos documented and not really much else. And I think that's okay. So, I've got pictures here of the boys or Jack at his swimming lessons. And then that's, what happened. So I'm going to keep flicking and you guys can have a look. And just remember, maybe write down if you see a layout you super liked. Because I will link those in the description box down below so you can check out that process video if you want to. I can mention if you want to know the cut files and stuff, if I can remember. It's a bit hard sometimes. I do use a lot of different cut files. I know this one's a Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file, and I know this one's a Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file. We tried so hard to get this kite to fly. It did not work. That's a Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file as well. Week 5, back to school. So obviously for those in America, that wouldn't have happened in January, but for us, that's our start of our school day. And literally my first day at school was like a activities day. No kids, just teachers. So we played and mucked around like kids would. So that was fun to document that. This is the Coco Vanilla Studios Legendary Collection. And I definitely have process videos for all of these. Week 6, week 7, again, process video with that. Week 8, this is a Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file that I used for a live over at the Facebook group. And it's featuring a lot of the exclusive cutter parts. Actually, it's all the exclusive cutter parts that came with that month's kit. So, from Kitaholics Kits. I'm talking about a kit, but didn't say which one. Week 8, week 9. So here I had to put the week sideways because March doesn't fit across. So I just rolled with it sideways. Not sure what I'm going to do when I get up to like September and November, but anyway, we will live with that. So this is week 9, and this is my son's birthday. So I've got a 12 by 12, I got a little extra insert, and an additional 12 by 12. All of that is like extra to the week, because of course, why would you not document your son's birthday and put in as many photos if you want? And I totally did that, but I just stuck within my sort of personal boundaries and yeah, did it. So I've got 2 extra 12 by 12s and an extra little insert, and then I roll back to week 10. New kit, this one. Amy Tan, Lucky Us. Bunch of different things in this kit. Week 11, back at the zoo again. We actually got a zoo membership, so we were going to the zoo a lot, but then of course it closed down because of the COVID situation. So hopefully when everything rebacks open, we'll be back using our membership again. Bloom Street, the beautiful Bloom Street. This was inspired by Melissa Vining layout, actually. Hers was just stunning and I had to scrap lift that. Week 12, week 13, Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file. Week 14, Maggie Holmes' Magical Forest. And I think that background piece is a Heidi swap. April, week 14. Week 15, Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file, and then Pebbles, is that Hey Hello? Or something like that. Now, this is extra as well because of Easter. So I think this is an additional layout just because, for funsies. This is an extra pocket for Easter, and then this is my Easter layout. And then this goes back to week 16. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Probably need to swap those two. Just realized that, sorry, I'm getting distracted, but this is the 3rd of April, and that's back here. So I've mixed up, I've pocketed my layouts in the wrong order, but that's okay, no big deal. I can fix that. That's why they're dated. Week 17. This is a Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file. I don't know if I have a process video for this. I didn't love the way this layout turned out. It was a bit too crazy for me. So I possibly didn't share. I would have recorded it, but I probably just trashed it because I didn't want to share it. Week 18. Now, this is the last week of April, and then we go into March. So generally speaking, I put 4 months in each album. And so I had to decide here whether to put the first week of March on the back of this page or whether to fill it with something else. I decided to fill it with something else because coronavirus had just become a really big thing here in Australia. And I thought I haven't really mentioned it at all throughout my normal life. There's little hints at it because, you know, we've got a lot more Zoom meetings happening and stuff like that. But in general, I haven't really mentioned anything about it. You know, you'll occasionally see the rainbow and the teddy bears in the window and Zoom and stuff like that. But in general, there's no real comment. Our lives still look the same. to anyone or to ourselves looking back on this years later. And I thought I can't let it go without a small amount of documentation. So this is pretty much it. This is basically all I've put into my albums. I've got this one Project Life spread that's coming on the back of the last week of April. And it's just showing what our massive major shopping center's looking like, which is dead, and no chairs at the cafes and stuff, which is just amazing. Normally you can't even move in there. How the shelves at the supermarket were getting completely gutted, but it's kind of sort of saying to myself when I look back at this later, calm down folks, we still are a family of 4 and we got our own normal, this is how much we would normally buy on a normal standard shop. It was fine, people, calm down. Husband's desk set up, ready for online work, parks were closed, and this was our major freeway and it was completely dead. You would never ever see it like this ever again. So I felt like I couldn't let this go without documenting it, but like 99% of you, I'm over it. I'm done. I don't want to hear this word ever again. So I didn't really want to make it a big feature in the album. Working from home was massive, like a massive change for us and had a huge impact on our lives. So I definitely wanted to document that for myself and just what life was like in my workplace as well, because that again was a really big, Zoom meetings and 50 people in a meeting and all of that was a really big change for us. So that was the end of April, and now I am ready to go into March in my second album. The actual physical album that I'm using is a leather or a faux leather, I don't know, Kaiser Craft album. I'm fairly new to the fake leather Kaiser Craft albums, but they seem to be really good. I have used their, cardboard ones in the past, and I don't like those. They break apart. Having said that, in defense to Kaiser Craft, I fill my albums. This is absolutely at bursting point. I could not get another layout in here if I tried. So in defense to their albums, I definitely push them to their breaking point. This leather one though is definitely a stronger version than their cardboard one, which makes total sense. So I really like it. Albums in Australia are difficult to buy and extremely expensive. About $50 standard an album. And when you use 3 albums a year, that's a lot of money. So I'm trying with the Kaiser Craft. Back before coronavirus, they had 50% off, so you could often pick these up for $20, which was amazing. And I love that they come with the book plate on the end as well, because I really like labeling each of my albums. So that is my first 4 months. I'm going to get working on my next 4 months, because then I'll be almost up to date. Almost, stretching it a little bit. Oh, August, that's not too bad. But yeah, I'd love to get up to August and have August be finished and done. And then I will share that one with you too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed having a flick through my album and how my albums look. And it was lovely to see you all again. Thank you so much. Bye.